Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. If you're being sent over from our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, you know we're talking about this rumor if the Bears should draft Jake Fromm. I will get to 3 quarterbacks I believe the Bears should target just a little later on in the video. But to recap this rumor, and for you new viewers on our Bears Only channel, recent mock draft, Yahoo Sports had the Bears taking Jake Fromm in the second round. As you guys know, Chicago does not have a first-round pick, does have 2 second-round picks. A lot of articles and blogs in recent weeks have suggested this idea as well, because Fromm falls into that range as a possible second-round pick option for several teams, obviously. Pretty good career at Georgia. I actually thought he regressed, though, as a junior, and I did not like the way he performed in big games specifically in his college career. Doesn't turn the ball over a lot. To me, though, he's a lower ceiling guy, and if you're going to take a quarterback with a premium draft pick, which this year is a second-round pick for the Bears, you got to be sure he's an upgrade from what you certainly have already. I'm not convinced he is an upgrade from Mitch Trubisky. I think they're very similar as far as their abilities go. I do not love this idea. I'll ask you guys, though. Who would you rather have as the Bears starting quarterback? Type F for Fromm, type T for Trubisky. I'm typing T. We outlined in our main Chat Sports channel that 2019 Trubisky wasn't great, but if we get what we saw in 2018 and maybe a little bit more, I'm definitely taking Trubisky. I am typing my T. Type F, though, if you want Jake Fromm. Now, before we get to my top 3 quarterbacks I think the Bears should target, if you're watching our Bears channel for the first time, here's some of the stuff we've been doing. Just launched 2.5 weeks ago, already over 1,100 subscribers. Did a mailbag Q&A recently. We do all kinds of rumors and news, free agency targets. Are the Bears going to replace Mitch Trubisky or at least upgrade at the quarterback position? We've done a lot of tight end stuff. Tight end certainly a major need for the Bears. We're going to have free agency targets at almost every position throughout this offseason. A lot of draft coverage. Be on the lookout tomorrow for my guy Tom Downey. He did his recent mock draft on our main Chat Sports channel. He mocked the Bears number 43 overall pick as well. That video will pop up on the channel tomorrow. Chatsports.com/Bears. Just hit that big red button. Be subscribed so you know when all of our videos go up on the channel. Now let's get into the top quarterback prospects in this year's draft. This is my list. I mean, I think the top 3 are pretty obvious across the board. Maybe you flip Herbert and Tua because of the hip injury with Tua. Those 3's ungettable for the Bears. All top 10 picks, top 15 at the worst if Tua or Herbert slides. Jordan Love, he's kind of a wild card. He could be mid-first round. He could fall to mid-second round. It just depends. I think a team's going to fall in love with his arm talent, though. I think he goes in round 1, so he's probably not gettable. Jacob Eason's probably the first guy you could get with that number 43 overall pick. I got him at number 5. And real quickly here, 6 through 10, we've talked about Jake Fromm. He's kind of in that range where the Bears are picking at 43 and at pick 50. Jalen Hurts, Anthony Gordon, Steven Montez, and Nate Stanley. It kind of falls off after the top 5, 6, or 7 guys. I want to talk about 3 quarterbacks, though, I think the Bears should target, starting with my number 9 guy in this year's draft, Steven Montez, the quarterback out of Colorado. If you don't know much about him, I watched him a lot. He was on Pac-12 After Dark a lot in college football. I love watching college football, so I watched Montez quite a bit. Up and down career, won some big games, lost some ugly games, played big at times, played bad at times. Big upside, I think, or not huge, but like a pretty good upside, maybe even a bigger upside than Jake Fromm, but his floor is much lower. He could bust easily. Big frame, strong arm, 6'5", 230 pounds, pretty good athlete. He does struggle with progressions at times, and I think that's what held him back. But keep in mind, Colorado, not the best athletes up there. They did have Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver who's going to get drafted in the first round. Not much else, really poor offensive line play. I think this is a clear day 3 target for the Bears. 6th round, I think, is the type of range to bring in Steven Montez. Maybe he's your back up to Trubisky. He could be, groomed for a couple of years. Maybe he turns into something. Number 2, I've got Jalen Hurts. Now, before I dive too deep into this, I want to make one thing very clear. I would not spend one of the second-round picks on Jalen Hurts. If a team wants to draft him in round 2, let them draft him. I don't think the Bears should do that. I think you trade back from one of those second-round picks, which I think is a big possibility for the Bears because the Bears don't have a first-round pick. Maybe you try to get extra picks. I think you trade back. Maybe you could get this guy in round 3. He developed under Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma, improved as a passer. Now, he's still very raw as a NFL-style quarterback, but here's my thought. You bring him in, you let him sit behind Mitch for 1 or 2 years, And if Mitch doesn't develop into something, maybe Hurts starts to develop, can become that guy you can tinker the offense a little like Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to be that guy on the internet. Jalen Hurts is the next Lamar Jackson. No, he doesn't run a 4.3. He's not that electric. Lamar's a better passer as well. But maybe he could be a Lamar light type of player. And worst case scenario, my thought, this guy has great leadership abilities. He's a really, he's a natural born leader. I just think this guy has the intangibles. Worst case, he's a Taysom Hill. I think you can use him in packages. He can play multiple positions. He can do some special team stuff for you. Really good athlete there. Now, I want to talk about the Bears draft capital. I mentioned I don't want Hurts to be drafted in the second round. You trade back from 50 or 43, though, get a third-round pick. I'm comfortable taking Jalen Hurts in the third round. Got 2 fifth-round picks, 2 sixth-round picks, and 1 seventh-round pick. So you don't have a first, don't have a third, don't have a fourth. That's why I think you trade back from one of those second-round picks. Will the Bears draft a quarterback in the NFL draft? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think most likely scenario is taking a guy on day 3, like a Steven Montez who I talked about. So I'm typing my Y for yes. I doubt they use a premium pick on him, one of those second-round picks on a quarterback, but we will see. Let me know what you guys think. Number 1 guy here, another day 3 option, is Anthony Gordon. I like this guy quite a bit. I think I would rather take Gordon in round 5 or 6 than Jalen Hurts in round 3. This guy's really accurate, great competitor, good athlete, had a monster season under Mike Leach at Washington State, replacing Gardner Minshew. Statistically, actually put up bigger numbers than Minshew at Washington State. Now, not a ton of experience, just the 1 season as a Power 5 starter. Kind of an average arm, isn't going to wow you down the field, but he does have deep ball accuracy, which Jake Fromm does not, to be quite frank. 6'3", 210, probably needs to put on 10 or 15 pounds. Played quite a bit put up quite a monster season at Wazoo this year. I love the accuracy, and this is not just air raid system accuracy. He throws a lot of intermediate balls, those 15, 20-yard passes with great anticipation, over 5,500 yards, 48 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. I think Anthony Gordon can be a big-time backup for a long time in the NFL, 10 to 15-year backup, with the chance to develop into being a starter. Productive player. I think he has room to grow. Anthony Gordon is my number 1 quarterback the Bears should target in the NFL draft.